Alright, let's talk about some Nintendo Homebrew games. Now I've got 55 here to show you, so let's go ahead and get started. And our first game is going to be called Alter Ego. And it's a neat little kind of action puzzle game where you can switch places with your doppelganger here, and all you have to do is collect these little bouncing squares. Of course, the problem with this game is that you kind of have to use your brain, and I'm really not used to using it that much, so these games get kind of confusing for me a little bit. Oh, there we go, we'll just switch places and get around that skull, and boom, there we go, we got all the bouncing squares. And then I've jumped forward a little bit into the further stages, and as you can see we have different styles of graphics here, which is nice. Keeps it from getting kind of boring. The control is just about spot on perfect, allowing you to switch places almost instantaneously. But yeah, that's a good game. I really liked it. Good graphics, good sound, good control. It's got it all. Alright, this one is called Assimilate, and basically what you do is you fly around and beam, well in that case I was beaming down, but you need to beam up some humans, I guess like mutate them and then beam them back down again, so you're like taking over the world somehow or another. Pretty basic, but not too bad. Kind of reminds me of Cosmic Arc a little bit for the Atari. Okay, this one's called Blade Buster, and wow, it's really, really good. Got some fantastic graphics, some good music. I feel like this could have been maybe a actual commercial release. Except I suck at it. Alright, here's a game called Blaster, and you know, this one's kind of basic. You're just a little smiley face shooting at things coming at you, kind of like Robotron a little bit. Now, I'm not a big fan of the controls in this game. You don't control your character's motion, but you can control the little circle around him by pushing up, down, left, or right, which can kind of get a little bit confusing. Anyway, that leads me into the next game called Bomb Sweeper. And this game is good. It really reminded me of some of the old Nintendo Game & Watch games. And basically all you have to do is move these pieces out of the way so that you can get to the bomb. And you do have a time limit, so you can't just dilly-dally. On this screen I saw those two bombs and I thought, well, what the heck? How am I going to get both of those? But really all you have to do is just get the one, and after that you're good. Alright, this game is called Bootee, or Bootee, or Bootee. And apparently you're a girl stuck in a boot and she just can't stop bouncing up and down for some reason. I thought that was kind of a weird kind of thing, but it's got some good graphics. I would say the control is okay, but really the fact that I'm bouncing around and I can't control it, I mean, you can control it, but it's very difficult. The bouncing really makes this a little more challenging than I think it needs to be. It'd be nice if you could control when you start jumping, or maybe stop the jumping. That would be good. Alright, our next game is called Chase, and as you can see, it's just kind of a basic, kind of like a Pac-Man game, really. You're just going around collecting these little dots that are floating in there. The control is nice, the graphics are good, the gameplay is kind of basic, really. I mean, there are different mazes, as you can see, different colors. The one thing this game is missing that Pac-Man has is power pellets. There's no way to attack your enemy. Okay, here's a game called Cheril the Goddess, and is it me, or is she not wearing clothes? I don't really understand why she would want to run around and fire and all that without clothes on, but anyway, it's a decent action platform game, very similar to Cheril the Writer. And in this one, the character looks like she has a bathing suit on instead, which I guess is a good thing. Again, you're just kind of traversing these different screens. jumping up there. The jumping's fairly good, but most of the problems I have with these kind of games are not really knowing what to do, and I just randomly went down that lava pit there and just happened to find this area here. And this is a friend of mine, I guess. They're kind of taking a dig at Retro Gamer for not featuring them in their magazine. But then after that, somehow or another, her clothes disappear again. I don't know what it is with this developer and liking to have a character with no clothes on, but whatever. Alright, here's a game called Sayo. And this is just kind of like your basic shooter kind of game. I was just kind of randomly shooting here, not really paying too much attention to getting hit. Alright, here's a game called Double Action Blaster Guys. And the graphics are not that spectacular, but the gameplay is actually a lot of fun. This game kind of reminded me of Joust in the sense that, you know, you have to take out your enemies and then collect these little, I don't know, like tombstones or something maybe at the end. Of course, you can't fly like you can in Joust. You have to jump up and down on these platforms. But yeah, this was good. I really liked this game. It's got some good control and no graphics and I guess kind of annoying music, but still, the game's the thing. It was a lot of fun. Alright, here's Dpad Hero, and let me just say up front, I've never really been a big fan of Guitar Hero and those kind of games, but I mean, you might enjoy this one. It has a lot of different songs. In this case, I'm playing Michael Jackson's The Way You Make Me Feel, but I didn't care for this, mostly because, look, you have to hit the button and you have to hit the direction at the same time, and that really made it confusing and complicated, so... Alright, next let's talk about Dpad Hero 2. I can't believe they made a second one of this game, but this one is a little bit better, I think, than the first one. You just have to hit the button at the right exact time that the balls are hitting the buttons. And I was just good at hitting the pals. That's pretty much all I cared about. Alright, next let's talk about Driar. And this is kind of a neat little game where you just have to collect stars. And one thing that I really liked about it is that if you die, you don't have to go back and collect all those stars again. And you can just go back and finish up where you were, which is nice. Seems pretty basic until you get to stage 2. And then here on stage 2, I can get up to these stars up here, which is great, but I can't figure out how to get up to that star. And then I couldn't jump over these blue squares either. That was pretty much it. Okay, here's a game called Dushlan, but it's very clearly a Tetris clone. And one of the things that the original NES Tetris was missing is the ability to save a piece. So all you have to do is hit one of the buttons, I forget which one it is, and it will move your piece over into the save spot so you can get 4 Tetris all at once, which made it very nice. Alright, here's a game called Fall Down, and it's just your basic game where you try not to let the ball touch either the top or the bottom of the screen, otherwise you'll die. So you just got to really focus on where your ball is and try to keep it moving there. There's no music, which is too bad, but control is good. And this was my best run at 79. Let's talk about Flappy Bird. Oh my gosh. I have never been a fan of this game. I didn't think the control was that great. I feel like the bird just kind of flaps a little bit too high in the air. There's not a lot of fine touch on this game. So, but it's here if you want to play Flappy Bird on your Nintendo. Okay, here's a game called Hot Seat Harry, and this is a very simple game. It kind of reminds me of that episode of The Simpsons where they're electroshocking each other, and all you have to do is hit the button really quickly to get that shock to your enemy over there, and bzz, shock them. Alright, here is an amazing game called Indivisible. It's got some great voice, some good music. Some fantastic graphics, nice animation. This is one of the better games that I played. And in this one, you are on a quest to find your dog who's run away into this really strange place with weird animals that, I don't know, it's like a bird thing I was attacking there. Your character can like do the ninja jump on the walls, which is nice. And we can fight, again, more of these bird things that look like closed down pool umbrellas. And then these guys kind of look like giant fleas. And you start out by just punching them, but after a while you'll find the axe right here. And you can use it to get a little bit further in the game. And we can chop down these vines so we can move on. And it also helps in fighting these weird umbrella bird guys again. And then we get outside here, and there goes the dog. Get back here! We go into another temple or something. I don't know where these are. And then we fight this boss. I guess he was a boss. Just 5 hits and he was done. That was pretty easy. Then I got lost. But anyway, that's a really good game and good graphics, and it's a lot of fun. Alright, here's a game called Jammin Honey. And honestly, I didn't have a whole lot of hopes for this game, but it looks very simple, and it is. All you have to do is collect the musical notes, and you can shoot notes with your guitar to stun these guys. Kind of reminds me of Miner 2049er a little bit for the Atari 8-bit computers, except in this case you are not you know, trying to touch all the ground levels. You're just trying to get all the notes. And these one-eyed green guys kind of remind me of the mascot for Justin Scar's Random Land YouTube channel. Okay, in this level we have birds that are shooting out eggs. You don't have to collect the coins, but it's just nice to get a little extra score. And you gotta watch out for those bees. They just kind of pop in randomly. Oh, I was looking at the bee and not paying attention to the green guy. Okay, here's a game called Jet Paco. And basically all you can do is hit the button and, you know, move around on your jetpack. You have to avoid these little green, they look like mines, but they're just kind of spiky things. They don't explode or anything. This one's got some good graphics and some nice sound effects. I would say the control is not bad, but I feel like these stages needed to be a little bit more spread out with these green mines. Just because, you know, when you're starting out, you want to kind of get comfortable with the controls, and they make it pretty challenging right off the bat. Alright, here's a game called KYFF, which made me think this had something to do with the Futurama character, but it has nothing to do with that. This is more of a street brawler kind of game, only it appears to be a 4-player game, and I couldn't really feel the full effect of how fun this game is because, you know, I don't have any friends. So I just walked up to these guys and just started punching them, and, you know, they would explode. And then I learned you could do the elbow smash like in Double Dragon, and that would take them out a lot faster. This would probably be a good game if you had a couple of friends to play with you. Alright, here's a game called Landmaster. And this game kind of reminded me of Loops a little bit. Kind of a puzzle game where you have to connect all the wires and the computers together to make kind of a computer network. Which is something that appeals to me because, you know, I'm kind of a computer guy. And all you can do is twist these wires, turn the wires and turn the computers around so they're facing the right direction. And the first 2 stages are not too hard, pretty easy. There's my passcode if you want to skip those levels. But then I got to this one and I'm starting to get kind of confused. I'm like, what am I doing here? And then I ran out of time, so... But that's a game, yeah, I'd probably go back to and try it again. Here we go, let's talk about Lawn Mower real quick. And originally I thought this game would be like Jeff Minter's Hover Buffer. And I mean, it kind of is. You're a lawnmower cutting grass. But unfortunately, you spend most of your time worrying that you're going to run out of gas, so you have to get that gas can like every few seconds. It would be nice if the gas would last a little bit longer. I mean, the graphics, I mean, how good can graphics be? But the control is pretty good for a lawnmower. And also you can speed up really quickly here, which is nice. And I don't know if that affects the speed of the drainage of your gas or not, but the gas didn't seem to run out quicker when I made the lawnmower go faster. Alright, here on this stage you have to watch out for the rocks and the yellow flowers. You don't want to cut the yellow flowers at all. And it kind of made me wonder if some of the later levels have like dogs and stuff chasing you, because there's really not a lot going on. Yeah, it's a pretty decent game. Okay, here's a game called Lunar Limit, and in this game you are Earth, I guess, and you're being attacked by Klingon birds of prey maybe, I guess. You have to move the moon by pushing the button, which kind of gets confusing. Overall, it's a pretty interesting game. I really like the seeing the Klingon birds of prey. Alright, here's a game called The Mad Wizard. And this one's pretty interesting. You can float right off the bat up to different boxes. And what we need to do is get that glowing box up there, because that will give me more powers. Now I can do a prism cube. And then once we get the prism cube, we can go over here, and there's a tree attacking me. And what I need to do is create the prism cube so that I can get up on these blocks. And I can never remember which are the commands to do the different spells. But now we got the cube, we floated over, and now we got levitation +1. So I guess we can float a little bit further, but not far enough to get that potion. And we fall down here into this pit, and we have to get the platform thing here. Once we get that, we can do the spectral bridge, that's what it's called. We push down +A to do the spectral bridge. And now I think we can get over there to that potion. Yep, there we go. And we'll levitate over because it's not quite far enough. And there we go, we got faster levitation speed. Cool. So I really like the progression in this game. It's kind of cool how you need different spells to continue the game. Alright, this one's called Micro Night, and I would say it's got really good graphics and decent controls, but the difficulty level, starting you off right over this bed of spikes, made me really not care for this game too much. And I suppose I could figure it out if I spent more time on it, but it was not one of my more favorites. Alright, here's a game called Mine Shaft. And this is another kind of fall down game, but as you can see, when you land on these platforms, different things will happen. So I could land on this one down here, and it bounces me up in the air. If I land on the red platform, I lose some health. And if I land on the blue platform, I'll get some health back. And then we have these platforms that push you off one way or the other. Good game, just have to be a little careful not to fall down to the bottom. Alright, this game's called Multidude, and as you can see, it's got some really great graphics. And the control is pretty much spot on. And really all you have to do is get in the doors. You have a couple of characters that you have to get into these doors, and each one of them has different powers. Like this one can leave blocks behind, so I guess you can step on them, I don't know. And this guy here can bust through floor panels. So in this situation here, I got to get my friend out of here. So I bust through these floor panels, and then I'm going to go over to the exit. And then this guy can escape. Now this one got me a little confused because I didn't know how I was supposed to get my friend there in the middle out of there. So I thought, well, I'll just leave him here. It's fine. He doesn't care. But then I thought my other guy here could maybe float over to him and pick him up or something, but that didn't work. So I'm just gonna leave him. Leave him to his death. All right, this one's called Nebs and Debs. And it really reminded me of Super Giana Sisters for the Commodore 64, which of course is a rip-off of Super Mario Brothers. And in this game you are collecting gems, but you also have the ability to do like a dash move. And I probably should have dashed on that guy right there, but I didn't. Oh, look out. And then here's where the dash comes in handy. You can jump across these sections pretty easily. Gotta get all the gems. Well, except for those four. I was kind of worried if I jumped down there I wouldn't be able to do the dash, so I just played it safe and jumped over here. And I'm not really sure what that D is, but I didn't get it. Just kept moving. But I did get the D on this stage. And again, I didn't really know what it did. But then here I thought, well, maybe I gotta do a blind dash across, and that was not a good idea. I probably had to jump on those guys there to get a little bit further along. Alright, this one's called NES Virus Cleaner. And basically you just have to avoid these electrical snake things and clean out all these bits. Just, I guess maybe you're collecting them? Pretty easy game, at least starting out. Sometimes the electrical sparks move a little bit faster than others, so you have to time it just right to get through them. The control is good and the graphics are kind of bland, but this one actually has music. That's pretty nice. And then I discovered that you can drop a door behind, which is really just a teleportation spot. So you can drop a spot and then teleport back to that spot at will. So I can see where this game might have a little bit of strategy element to it. Alright, here is your basic snake game called NESnake, or NESnake maybe. And just like any snake game, your goal is to eat the apples and avoid crashing into the walls or crashing into yourself, because as you can see, your snake gets slightly larger each time he eats something. And in addition to the apples, you're also collecting these numbers, which I thought maybe were like multipliers, so you would want to get the numbers first and then get the apples, but it didn't seem like it changed my score any. And then here on this stage, it gets a little more creative to where you cannot go through that that barrier from the opposite direction. You have to go the way the arrows are pointing. And then on this stage, I really threaded the needle and got right there between the wall and the snake to get that apple. And then there is a star I want to get. Can I get it? Can I get it? Can I get it? Oh, no, I crashed. Okay, here's a game called Brony Blaster. At first I thought this was going to be about like ponies or something, because it looked like a My Little Pony on the title screen, but no. Instead you're just jumping around collecting these coins everywhere. And it's got some really good colorful graphics, and the control is decent. But the one thing that is curious to me is, why are the platforms you can stand on the same color as the wall? It was a little confusing there, trying to figure out what you could stand on and what you couldn't. Alright, here is the classic Pitfall for the Nintendo Entertainment System. And as you can see, it's a little bit choppy. And I have a theory as to why it's choppy, but I don't know if it holds water. You know, the Nintendo is tile-based on its graphics. It uses tile-based graphics. Whereas the Atari uses like scan lines to build its graphics. So I'm imagining that's why that vine is not swinging very smoothly. And could be also why the logs are not rolling smoothly either. And then I got to this part with the crocodiles and I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be able to get past this. But it also comes with an editor, so you can edit your own screens. And I was just kind of playing around with it here. I wasn't really sure how you could save this and play it. I mean, I see save and everything up there at the top, but it doesn't tell you what button to press. Alright, here we go. Here's Pong for the NES. It's just kind of your basic Pong game. It's nice that I'm able to play against the computer and not only have to have a human player. Oh man, did you see that? The ball just kind of bounced right off. That was not fair. It's got music, which is something the original Pong did not have. The ball speeds up a little bit as you go, so it makes it a little more challenging. But yeah, it's Pong. Alright, this one's called Proto, Dere plus NES. Another one of these games where you go from screen to screen. The control is kind of sketchy on this one because, as you can see there, I was kind of slipping off the stairs, and I have a tendency to kind of hit diagonally while I'm going up. So if you don't hit straight up as you go up the stairs, you'll fall off. But here you just have to get to the door on each screen and avoid these moving fireball things. Fairly easy game. But I was thinking it would be nice if somehow... Oh wow, I got to deal with 3 at once and I died. It would be kind of nice if I had some kind of like a water gun or something I could shoot these guys. Alright, here's a Saturn Smash, which is a absolutely bonkers shooting game. But again, it's one of these screen-to-screen type games. You just kind of collect stuff and go from different screens, shooting, well, pretty much everything. I mean, there's Yoshi. And I don't know who those characters are over there. And there we are blasting the Sega logo. And there's some Metroids bouncing around there. But this is the kind of game that makes me think... this is the kind of game my 5-year-old son would have just overdone with some kind of a editor, just putting everything on the screen at once. Pretty bonkers. Okay, this one's called Sergeant Helmet's Command Wow. This one's kind of like your basic Commando game, but you have to be cautious about what you touch. Like, you can't touch skulls there. You can't walk over water. And it's easy to get hit and die, just like that. It's a pretty decent game, but I think I'd rather play regular Commando. Alright, here's Sergeant Helmet's Training Day. I like this game a little bit better than the other Sergeant Helmet game. This one seems a little bit more traditional Commando style. And really all you have to do is, well, avoid the enemy soldiers. But you have to collect these, they look like little computer pads or something. And you go up to the door right there, like that's the door. Open it up and move on to the next part of the game. Now I just noticed this, but there's a motorcycle over there. I wonder if I could have gotten on that motorcycle and taken it for a ride. But there's a slight puzzle element in this where you have to move these, I guess they're boulders or something. Notice how they don't fall sideways like in Boulder Dash. Here we go, get that computer. And we'll just go ahead and get the heck out of here. Get out of my way, get out of my way. Oh, we gotta get through that door. Look out. Now we're, alright, there we go. Oh, we got the gun. I don't know what that does. Well, I'm dead, so I guess I'll never know. Alright, this one's called Sonic Mal. I guess that's Bad Sonic in Spanish. I can understand why Bad Sonic. He looks kind of derpy. It's more of a screen-to-screen game. It's not scrolling or anything like that. I guess you're supposed to get all the rings, maybe? But... I don't know. The control's not bad, but I think I'd rather just play the real Sonic. Alright, here's a game called Solar Wars. This looks awesome. What is this? Artillery Duel? I had high hopes for this game, especially when I saw that title screen. It's just kind of your basic artillery duel where tanks are shooting back and forth at each other. Also, it's kind of like Worms if you've ever played that game before. And somehow I got really lucky and was able to aim on that tank and hit it pretty quickly. Fortunately, they have different stages with different graphics and stuff, but yeah, basically just kind of aim at your enemy and shoot at them. Alright, here's a really interesting one called Sting. As you can see, it has a very strong Gravatar vibe to it. And what you do here is you have to fly through this stage, shoot these turrets, and gravity is constantly pulling you downwards, just like in Gravatar. It also is using vector-style graphics. Look how smooth the scrolling is, it's really good. And basically all you have to do is get that key card and then find the exit. Oh, and I just discovered you can do shields there. I kind of like this game a little bit better than Gravatar, actually, because the gravity in Gravatar is just unrelenting. It's just constantly pulling you downwards, and I feel like I don't have a lot of control in that game, but this one, the control is just about perfect, except I just crashed there and died. Okay, this one is called Streemerz, and it has a very strong Bionic Commando vibe to it. You've got like that bionic stretchy arm, and that's really the only way that you can jump, is to grab on a platform and pull yourself up. It's got some really nice music, good graphics, and a very unique gameplay style. And I'm really just trying to get through this to see how far I can go, and then this guy shows up and says not to touch Master Yi's balls. I guess those energy balls are deadly, so we don't want to touch those. We got to the checkpoint, and now if you're really good, you can just continue to hit the button and just like walk on the ceiling and stuff. It's kind of neat. And then there's that money over there. They want you to try to collect that. Look at that. Oh, look at how adeptly I did that. That was awesome. Of course, I should not have gone down this way, because now I would have to go all the way back around, which, who the heck wants to do that, right? But yeah, Streemerz is a pretty cool game. Alright, this one's called Super Floofy Sheepie, and this kind of reminds me of something Jeff Minter would have come out with, I guess, because I know he likes sheep. But really, you're just going around collecting these little fuzzballs. I'll tell you what though, this game sucks, and it's because of the controls. Why can't I just use the control pad? Instead, I have to push the buttons to select a direction and then push the other button to move in that direction. That just sucks. So yeah, not really a fan of that game. Here is Super Homebrew War, and apparently we are doing a Smash Brothers style game with homebrew characters. I'm playing with Jammin Honey here. Basically all you do is just attack your enemies, and if you bounce on those bricks you can get different power-ups. I didn't get the lightning, but I did get the boxing glove here, and it had no effect on that paper airplane. Alright, here's Super Painter, which has some really great sounds, graphics, and gameplay, and the control is just beautiful. It's perfect. This one has a very strong Miner 2049er vibe to it. All you have to do is go around and touch all the platforms and change the colors. And then, of course, once you do that, you have to find the door. There does not appear to be any way to attack these enemies. You just have to avoid them. It's funny that they're using Super Mario Brothers sound effects. And then I've skipped ahead here a little bit. Just gotta get over these guys. Sometimes you have to be a little strategic. Come on, get up there. There you go. And then I got to this stage, and you have to paint the sidewalls as well. But I couldn't quite figure out how to get up there to the upper section of the walls. Yeah, that was a good game. I liked it. Alright, here's a game called The Rise of Amondus. This game had a very strong Firefly vibe. If you're familiar with the game Firefly on the Atari 2600, it's pretty bad. Yeah, this game, I can't even describe it. It was not good. I didn't like it. Alright, here's a game called Tiger Jenny, and this one is pretty good. I like the graphic style. And you're just traveling along, jumping on these platforms, jumping on these chopped down trees, going from screen to screen. But this one has scrolling, unlike some of the other screen-to-screen games have. And in here you're trying to avoid these walking tomatoes, I think. Go up and get that heart. There we go. Come on, tomato. Oh yeah, take the knife. And then we've got these blue, I don't know, warthogs or something. And we'll go in this door here. And then suddenly we seem to be back in that same room that we were in before. I don't know if there's any more to this game, but it seems like we're just kind of repeating the same thing. Anyway, that looked like a really fun game. Alright, here's a game called Utako, something. It's some kind of a rhythm kind of game. But it just made me hungry. I need tacos. It's got some cute little music running. Well, and I say running because we got this girl running on the screen as quickly as she can. I don't even know where she's trying to go. Couldn't quite figure out what I was supposed to do in this game, but hey, if it looks good to you, check it out. Alright, here's a game called What Remains, and that logo screen really reminds me of Stranger Things. But the game, once you get into it, kind of reminds me of Grand Theft Auto, where you kind of run around the city and stuff, and we go into these different stores. In this case, a smoke shop. Everybody's just puffing it up there. And then we head over here to the diner, and again, more smoke everywhere. I can't taste my food, but this cigarette sure hits the spot. Wheeze. Have you seen the customers? I can't see a thing. And at some point we find a Nintendo cartridge and go see our friend. We plug the cartridge in, and then we get this weird kind of cloak and dagger style vibe here. Contents are encrypted. What could possibly be on this game? It's a secret game. Something important is on here. And we play this little game of kind of breakout in order to get the key. And then once we get the key, we learn the secret of Alan Kittenstein, who is posing as an air quality expert. The public has been misled, and we have to share this information with everybody. So we have a new skill now. We can press B to blow the whistle on this guy. So let's go back to the tobacco shop and tell everybody, this guy's a phony. So what? My friend's a granny and smoked all her life. Okay, so these people in the smoke shop don't want to hear the good news. Then you get some of these guys who definitely don't want to hear it and then kick you out. So I headed over to the diner, and some of these people can't believe it. So I talked to my mom here, and she couldn't believe it either, but she just decided that, you know what, I'm tired of the smoke, so I'm going to ban smoking in my diner. And then instantly everything's cleared up. And then we talked to everybody here in the diner, and it all looks good. So yeah, this is kind of an interesting RPG style game. I was kind of getting into it there, but I'm not sure what else we can do after we alert the world about the dangers of smoking. Alright, here's a game called Yun. This one is kind of like Bubble Bobble, in the sense where you're blowing bubbles at these guys and capturing them and then knocking them out. There you go, got one, and then I died. Decent graphics. Pretty good sounds here, I guess. Control is good, but I can't quite get over the fact that they just like having half-naked people in their games. And then you have to find the key, which of course I have no idea where it is. Here's a game called Zombie Calavera. I keep wanting to say Zombie Cadaver. But I really like the graphic style in this one where it's all silhouetted. The controls are extremely slippery. You kind of jump a lot farther than you would expect, so I was worried I would never be able to get onto that platform, but somehow I luckily did it, and then I died. Alright, here's Zooming Secretary, which I think might be my favorite game in this whole bunch. It reminds me of an old Atari 8-bit game called Spare Change, where you would have to manage an arcade. Well, in this case, you're a secretary who has to answer these phones with the right information. And as you can see, these different filing cabinets have certain information in them that you have to get to these ringing phones. In this case, we have an Earth icon over that one. We have to get Earth information to these phones. And you get little trivia across the top, which is kind of neat. Alright, so here we are on day 2. Fortunately, we have a coffee machine, which makes the secretary run even faster. And I don't know what the purpose of the boss is here. He just kind of says blah blah blah. I don't know if he slows me down, maybe. I didn't notice any slowdown. But it's the same deal. You just have to go around and answer these phones with the correct information. Be quiet, boss. You're yapping too much. Maybe you should go get some coffee. Quick, quick, we gotta hurry up and answer the phones. Hey, maybe some coffee will help. I need the Earth information. No, hurry, hurry, hurry. And I'm out of time. I missed too many phone calls and I'm fired, which is perfectly fine because, to be honest, I hate answering phones. Alright, well there you have it. There's 55 Nintendo homebrew games, and I've added a link down below so you can try these out for yourself. Which one of these was your favorite? Please let me know down in the comments. Thank you for watching, take care, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.